What made the high school legend become a legend? When I was in 11th grade, a guy a year older than me, in grade 12, saved a grade 9 girl from being abducted by her estranged father in the school parking lot. Her dad hadn't been in her life for years and had previously tried to take her from her elementary school. This being her first year in high school, I guess he tried again. The 12th grader heard her scream as her dad tried to force her into his car, and he ran over and got involved, apparently punching the dad before the dad got back in his car and sped off. Guy was a legit hero at the school. Our history teacher was ex-military, and he was absolutely jacked. Like, this guy would bike 10 miles every morning to school, kept an ab roller in his classroom, would eat salads and beans for lunch every day, the whole shebang. Anyway, one day he gives our class a pop quiz. Jeff, the strongest, biggest guy in my class, goes up to him and asks, "If I can punch you in the stomach, and make you flinch, the entire class gets a 100 on the quiz." My teacher took him up on it. He prepared himself, and Jeff absolutely drills him in the stomach. Our teacher did not flinch. We still had to take the quiz, but Jeff went down in history as the guy who punched a teacher, and the teacher went down in history as a guy you don't want to mess with. Halfway through my last year of high school, someone managed to put a ceramic toilet on top of our multi-story gymnasium. I have no idea how that feat was achieved. The school staff didn't know either, nor could they figure out how to get it off the roof once they found it. As a result, it remained on the gym for the remainder of my time there. I never found out who did it, but I will admire them until my dying day. We had a carbon monoxide leak at my high school one day, in which the entire school was evacuated to the football field. The leak was taking so long to fix, that eventually local news cameras started showing up. At about the 3-hour mark of waiting on the football field, one of the seniors ran naked across the entire length of the football field, in front of the entire school. He ran straight at the cameras that were pointed at the field, hopped the fence, and ran across a busy intersection, butt-ass naked. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Every single person, including the teachers, was laughing hysterically. Kid became a legend that day for sure. We had a thing at our high school called Senior Assembly. It was basically a variety show put on by the senior class. The seniors would do skits dressed up as teachers to make fun of them, and the teachers dressed up as students to poke fun at us, etc. Anyway, our class decided to go with an SNL theme. One of my classmates flew to New York City, somehow managed to sneak backstage at Saturday Night Live, and then got almost the entire cast to give individual shout-outs to our graduating class. This was in 2009, so he got people like Will Ferrell, Seth Meyers, Andy Samberg, etc. Even Lorne Michaels gave us a shout-out. In 9th grade, one of our teachers got sick, so we got a sub. And this kid just starts talking in a strong Spaniard accent, like super well, and convinces the teacher he is from Spain. And he talks this way for 3 months. It was hilarious. And when another kid tried talking as a Spaniard too, he got really upset and accused the other kid of mocking his culture, etc. Then when the year ended, we had to do a presentation, and our teacher who got sick came. So, the kid just nodded through the whole presentation while his group mates talked. It was hilarious. My brother ran into the statue of our high school mascot with his truck at night. Knocked the bulldog off its platform, then threw it in the back of the truck. It ended up in a pond out by our house. My brother, who was a massive wallflower in school, never told a soul until he mentioned it to me over some beers in our 30s. No one ever knew who it was, but it was a big deal, and I remember tons of allegations, accusations, and rumors as to how our mascot disappeared. Never in my life would I have ever suspected my brother. Legendary in my eyes. Edit, thanks for awards. I'm avoiding saying too much about location etc. in the off chance anyone pieces it together. I like it as our own little secret that I'm sharing with a few thousand strangers. Not a school legend for doing something cool, but a school legend for his stupidity. Dumb classmate of mine locked himself in the classroom with the backpacks of others trying to be funny. He had his backpack on his back and standing on the ledge of the window. He fell off. We were at the ground floor, but there was still about a 2-meter fall to the ground since the school is a bit elevated. Even today, 3 years since it happened, I still go past the school and hear, "Look, this is where that kid fell out the window." To be honest, dude was a jerk, so he kind of deserved 2 weeks in the hospital. There was this one sophomore who had a goose for a pet. He lived kind of close so he could walk to school, and he'd always let his goose walk with him. We all called him Goose, and he was a really nice guy to hang with. Even the teachers liked petting his goose. One time he was at school when one of the teachers who wasn't chill with his pet came out and started yelling at him about the goose, and he got a detention somehow. The next day, the same teacher wasn't in class. We find out at a small assembly at the end of the day that Goose had let his goose run around the classroom last night, and apparently the teacher was still there grading, and got a beak to the head. No one messed with him for the rest of school year. Someone placed a bet that he couldn't jump out the classroom window during class and walk back in through the door. If he did it, he would win a pizza for lunch. It was winter and the season for ice and powder snow, so the ice was covered. The guy jumps out. 2 stories up. Thinks it going to be fluffy landing. He was unaware it was solid ice beneath the classroom due to earlier thawing and freezing. Breaks both his legs. Really ugly. Didn't come back to the classroom, so he didn't win pizza either. Legend for being an idiot. Tried to sue the school and teacher but lost every case. Entire staff was computer illiterate, mid to late 90s, my cousin was a computer whiz, so the staff just let him run everything. The school forced the World War II and Korean War era teachers to move to computers and they just said no. And handed it over to a 14-year-old. Everything. Cousin Mo did 98% the right thing, but he did make sure that his buddies just scraped by to pass the classes they wouldn't have otherwise. Teachers suspected but couldn't care at that point. Principal was clueless. There was this kid in my high school that was literally good at everything. Academics, high honor roll, choir, best voice, plus he did a bunch of solo stuff too. Athletics. Dude was a natural athlete, literally walked into a track practice one day and became our top sprinter, high jumper and long jumper. On top of that was the star running back, I think. Been a while, I think that was his position but I can't remember. Looks. Dude was like an 8/10 at the least. Personality? Bit of a jerk, to be honest, but not bad enough to be considered a douche. Was very charismatic. Was obviously voted prom king. Everything he tried he was the best, if not among the top 5. Dude just oozed confidence, and rightfully so. Thank you for listening to Campfire TTS. Please like, comment, and subscribe.